this is Jill Goodell, and I'm back again with a demonstration on how to draw a circle to a sphere. What we're going to use today is an HB pencil, number 2, a white eraser, plastic eraser, a kneadable eraser, a pen eraser, along with a mono eraser. They have different tips, so you can see that, and I really like those. A stump, which is paper mache blender, and a brush, and we'll cover the value scale. So the circle is just a flat line, that's all it is. And we're using this one, and then I'm going to draw another one. It's going to be larger. Okay, my circle may end up becoming more of an oval, like maybe more like an apple or an orange. Okay, but I basically have this line here, and I try to keep my lines really light. I don't ever draw with a line like that because it's very hard to erase. Even with a plastic eraser, which takes up almost everything, you can still see a ghost. However, if I go lightly, I can take my eraser and it goes away right away. So that's the reason. We're going to have light coming in here, and so that means that there's going to be light here and darkness here. And we're going to be using values to get that to that point. So values, or the other word is tone, is the darkness to the light. So the darkest is here, so that would be the darkest dark. Then you have a lighter light, and then a mid-tone. It's a mid-tone also, but it's a dark mid-tone. It's a light mid-tone. And then you have light, which is white, the lightest light, which will be the paper here. So we're not going to have anything here. If you notice here, it's the darkest dark, then you have the darker tone, a mid-tone, a light tone, and the lightest light. So I'm going to be coloring in this circle in a mid-tone, okay? And if you see how I'm holding my pencil, I'm holding it with my fingers further away from the point. I don't use this for this type of thing. I use this kind of I hold my pencil that way when I'm doing some detail work, but that's all. Now I'm just going to fill this in, and I'm not really worried about the lines and what's really happening here. I'm just trying to fill it in with mid-tone. As you know, some of you who have taken my classes know that I believe in adjust and modify, so if I make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal. I can always erase it or change it. Okay, the other thing I do is I put a grounding line, and the grounding line is just that. It grounds the object onto the table or whatever it's sitting on. Before the grounding line is just hanging in the air like an apple from a tree. This is seated. So now I'm going to, because the light's coming from here, I'm going to make this a little darker. And you notice that I'm doing everything in one direction. I could do cross-hatching, which is another video on lines, but here we're just bringing in the value. And so since it's coming this way, I know that I need to put some more over here too. Okay, so putting my first layer. Now I'm going to press a little harder and put some more, make it a little darker. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. Also, we're going to have a shadow over here because the light is coming this way, so this is going to have a cast shadow. So I'm going to put a mid value here. Okay. After this is done, I'm going to take my stump, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction of the way I drew it. Okay, and that's really key. Now, if you notice that this is really dark, and in the materials video, I talked about how to make these dark. They come out of the package like this, and that doesn't do anything. So what I like to do is I like to make it as dark as possible, so I take piece, I would take a pencil and I really soak up that graphite. If you can see how I'm drawing just by using this. So in a way it's like a pencil, but it's not. And I'm going to just blend here. If you notice that was a little dark over here in the top part, I'm going to fix that by doing my erasing later on. But right now I'm just blending all of this, and see how easy it blends with the stump. In the old days we used our fingers, but using the fingers will put oil onto the paper, and that's not real healthy. So just blending, blending, blending. And if I don't like what I see, I can always add more graphite, and I will be doing that in a little bit anyway. So now it's like there's some light here, it's darker here, but what I want to do now is I want to make this side lighter. So I take my kneadable eraser and I lay it down flat. And I even actually go over the line. Oh my goodness, I'm going outside the line. I'm lightening this up. And I'm going to take my pen eraser, the larger of the two, and I'm going to just get rid of some of those outside lines that I had, which some people would have, some people can draw perfect circles, perfect ovals. I can't. I have to do a hit and miss kind of thing. So what's called looking for the true line. And so you can see I'm really redrawing this a little bit by just using my erasers. So the next thing is I want to put a highlight, which is the brightest bright. So I'll put that right in here. And then what I will do is clean that up a little bit too, while I still have this in my hand. And see, I could fiddle with things forever. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little darker. Making something, I'll try to explain this, but by making this darker, this will become lighter. And very often you'll have a leaf and you want to have the leaf stand out. So you have the leaf on the top that's lighter and you have one on the bottom. The one on the top that's lighter will pop out better. And it took me a while to figure that one out. I had a teacher tell us that once, and I didn't really understand it until I started fiddling with light and shadow. And maybe that's a subject for another video. And as you can tell, it's layer after layer after layer kind of thing. And then I'm going to put some really heavy pressure here and start working on the shadow a little bit. Okay. Again, some more blending. And I fell in love with this tool once it was introduced to me. Back when I was in school, long time ago, we just used our fingers. We didn't use this. We maybe used the other thing called a tortillon, but that was wrapped paper and it had ridges on the edge. This one is just so nice because it doesn't have any ridges. And then I can bring my shadow out and even make it fade a little bit so it doesn't have maybe total kind of thing. And if I don't like that, I can easily just come in with my eraser and just carve that out with my eraser. And again, like I said, you can draw with your eraser along with your pencil and your stump. And very often you'll have an object that will be, the light will be shining on this object and bounce off to here, so you have some reflective light. And what I could do is say there's some blemishes on here. I can actually go in and bring some things like that up and then just put a ridge here. Again, that's that light going on top. So there you go. You can have even a ridge there. I think that covers everything. I really appreciate you coming by and watching the video, and come back soon. Thanks.